Plus 5, transformation starts with a single spark called discipline. Right now, at this moment, you stand at the threshold of becoming someone entirely new. Not through magic, not through chance, but through the power of your daily decisions. Your greatest obstacle isn't talent or opportunity, it's daily consistency. The world is filled with brilliant people who never reach their potential because they cannot master themselves. Today, that cycle ends for you. The next 15 days will fundamentally reshape your relationship with commitment. This isn't about temporary motivation or short-lived inspiration. This is about building an unshakable foundation that withstands the storms of life. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom in its highest form. It's the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. When you master discipline, you master life itself. Look around at the greatest achievements in human history. Every monument, every breakthrough, every revolution stands someone who showed up day after day when others would not. They weren't superhuman. They simply understood the power of small. Small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. A single brick doesn't make a building, but brick upon brick creates structures that stand for centuries. Your daily disciplines are those bricks. The path ahead won't always be comfortable. There will be mornings when your bed feels like a magnet, days when excuses sound like wisdom, and moments when giving up seems reasonable. These are precisely the moments that define you. You must understand that discipline is not about perfection. It's about progression. It's about getting back up one more time than you fall. It's about honoring your commitments, especially when you don't feel like it. In these next 15 days, you build more than habits. You'll build character. You'll develop the inner strength that turns dreams into reality. You'll become the person who does what needs to be done without being told, without being watched, without being rewarded. The Lord doesn't change for people who wish. It changes for people who work. Your transformation begins now. Day one, the decision. Today marks your declaration of war against mediocrity. This is not a day of planning or preparing. It is a day of deciding. Make no mistake, until you truly decide, nothing significant will happen in your life. Commitment begins not with action, but with choice. The word decision comes from Latin, meaning to cut off. When you decide, you cut off all other possibilities. You remove the option of retreat. You burn the bridges that lead back to your old life. The power of writing your discipline declaration cannot be overstated. Take a pen right now, not later, not tomorrow, and write down what you're committing to. Be specific, be clear. This written declaration becomes your contract with yourself. Setting your non-negotiable minimum standards is essential. What will you do every single day, no matter what? What line will you refuse to cross regardless of temptation? These standards become the foundation of your new identity. Most people live in the gray area of trying. They say, I'll try to exercise more or I'll try to wake up earlier. But trying is not deciding. Why most people never truly decide, they merely prefer. Preference is weak. Preference bends to convenience. Preference surrenders to comfort. Decision stands firm against all opposition. Today, you must move beyond preference into decision. You must cross the line from I should to I must, from I wanted to I will. Your transformation hinges on this moment of decision. Everything that follows, every victory, every breakthrough begins here. Day 2, purpose before passion. Passion is temporary. Purpose is permanent. Many begin the journey of discipline fueled by excitement and enthusiasm, only to abandon their path when that initial fire dims. Passion is like a flame. Purpose is the steady furnace that burns regardless of weather or season. Finding your why that withstands emotional fluctuations is critical. Your purpose must be greater than momentary pleasure or comfort. It must connect to your deepest values, to what you believe matters most in this life. When your alarm sounds at 5 a.m., passion may be sleeping, but purpose will lift you from your bed. And the connection between purpose and sustained motivation cannot be broken. When you clearly understand why you're doing something difficult, You find strength beyond your emotions. The Navy SEALs don't endure their brutal training because it feels good. They endure it because their purpose demands it. Creating your purpose statement as your North Star gives you direction when fog surrounds your path. Write it in present tense. I'm becoming the person who make it specific enough to guide your actions, but broad enough to encompass your life's mission. Today, craft that statement. Place it where you'll see it daily on your mirror as your phone background beside your bed. Let it be the first thing you see each morning and the last thing you see each night. Measuring every action against your highest purpose becomes your daily practice. Before each decision, large or small, ask yourself, does this move me toward my purpose or away from it? This single question will illuminate the correct path when temptation clouds your judgment. Purpose transforms discipline from burden to blessing. Day 3, morning victory. Winning the day begins before 8 a.m. The first hours after waking set the tone for everything that follows. Champions understand this truth. Conquer the morning, conquer your life. Designing your morning ritual of excellence starts tonight. Prepare your clothes, your workspace, your nutrition. Eliminate decisions when willpower is weakest. Your morning ritual isn't improvised. It's intentionally crafted for maximum impact. That's the power came in the first hour for yourself. Cannot be overstated. Before the world's demands flood in, before notifications and obligations compete for your attention, take this sacred time for your development. This isn't selfishness. It's strategic investment, physical movement. As the catalyst for mental strength must become non-negotiable. Your body in motion creates a mind in motion. It doesn't require complicated equipment or lengthy workouts, just movement that awakens your systems and signals to your mind. Today is for action, not passivity. How morning discipline creates momentum for the entire day is simple physics. An object in motion stays in motion. When you begin with victory, you create positive momentum that carries you through challenges. One completed task leads naturally to another. Your morning isn't just about checking boxes. It's about establishing command over yourself. It's stating to the universe, I control my life's direction, not circumstances, not convenience, not comfort. Morning victory isn't about perfection. It's about intention. Day 4. Environment design, your surroundings silently shape your behavior. The world's most disciplined individuals understand that willpower alone is insufficient. They strategically design their environments to make good choices easier and poor choices harder. Removing friction from positive actions is your first task. Want to exercise daily? Place your workout clothes beside your bed. Need to read more? Keep books in every room. Wish to drink more water. Fill bottles each night and place them where you'll see them throughout your day. Creating barriers to negative behaviors works in reverse. Delete social media apps from your phone. Place unhealthy snacks in hard-to-reach places. Set website blockers during your productive hours. The goal isn't to make bad behaviors impossible, but to require conscious effort. The strategic placement of reminders and cues reinforces your commitments. Post your goals where you'll see them constantly. Set alarms with motivational messages. Change your passwords to reflect your aspirations. These environmental triggers bypass your conscious resistance. Building an environment that makes discipline inevitable is about recognizing a fundamental truth. Humans consistently take the path of least resistance. Rather than fighting this tendency, make discipline the easiest option available. Your physical space reflects your mental space. A cluttered desk leads to cluttered thinking. An organized room promotes organized actions. Your environment isn't neutral. It's either supporting your goals or undermining them. Today, audit your surroundings. What in your environment is sabotaging your discipline? What could you add or remove to strengthen it? Make these changes immediately, not eventually. Your environment will shape you. Shape it first. Day 5. Identity transformation, moving beyond doing to becoming represents the deepest level of personal change. Most people focus exclusively on their actions, what they do. But lasting discipline flows naturally from who you believe you are. When discipline becomes your identity rather than just your activity, consistency follows effortlessly. The power of identity-based habits cannot be overstated. When you exercise because I am an athlete rather than I need to lose weight, your motivation transcends temporary goals. When you write daily because I am a writer rather than I should finish this project, resistance diminishes. Speaking to yourself as the person you are becoming reinforces this identity shift. Your self-talk creates your reality. Replace, I hope I can stick with this is who I am now. Eliminate language that permits backsliding. Your words to yourself matter more than anyone else's words to you. Creating evidence that reinforces your new identity happens through small wins. Each time you follow through on a commitment, document it. These documented victories become proof that challenges your old self-image. Keep these proofs visible. They are ammunition against doubt. Why am discipline trumps? I want to be disciplined is simple psychology. Your brain constantly seeks consistency between your actions and your self-perception. When you firmly establish, I am disciplined, as your identity, your subconscious works tirelessly to align your behavior with this belief. Today, write your new identity statement, not who you want to become someday, but who you are claiming to be right now. Write it as an absolute present tense truth. Then find one small action you can take immediately that a person with this identity would take without question. Your behaviors are merely reflections of your identity. Change the core, and everything else follows. Here's A6. Mastering discomfort. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every significant achievement in human history requires someone to push beyond what felt pleasant or convenient. Your body and mind instinctively seek comfort, yet growth exists exclusively outside that zone. Training yourself to embrace necessary suffering begins with recognition. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your teacher. The burn in your muscles during exercise, the mental strain of focused work, the social awkwardness of new situations, these sensations signal growth, not danger. A 5-second rule for pushing through resistance offers a practical strategy. When you feel resistance to a necessary action, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then move immediately. This count bypasses your brain's protective mechanisms that generate excuses. It transforms thought into action before fear can intervene. Finding joy in the process of growth requires a perspective shift. Instead of resenting discomfort, learn to welcome it as evidence. You're expanding your capabilities. When your lungs burn during a run, smile. You're becoming stronger. When a task challenges your mind, be grateful. You're developing wisdom, building your discomfort muscle. Daily happens through intentional practice. Deliberately choose one uncomfortable activity each day, cold showers, difficult conversations, challenging tasks you've been avoiding. Start small, but be consistent. Like any muscle, your capacity for discomfort grows with regular exercise. The ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel, separates the extraordinary from the average. Average people wait for motivation. Extraordinary people act despite its absence. Today, identify the discomfort you've been avoiding that stands between you and your goals. Face it directly. Remember, the pain of discipline weighs ounces while the pain of regret weighs tons. Embrace the discomfort. It's making you unstoppable. Day 7, time ownership. You don't find time. You create it. The myth that successful people somehow discover extra hours in their day keeps many trapped in mediocrity. Everyone receives the same 24 hours. The disciplined person doesn't have more time. They make better decisions with the time they have. The power of time, booking your priorities, cannot be overstated. What gets scheduled gets done. Don't just list your important activities, assign them specific hours in your day. Treat these appointments with yourself as seriously as you would treat meetings with important people. Because that's exactly what they are. Intimating as thieves of productivity starts with awareness. Track your time for 3 days to identify where it disappears. Social media, mindless browsing, excessive television, unnecessary meetings, these are not just activities. They are thieves stealing your most precious resource. Cut them mercilessly. While willpower fails, without structure is simple biology. Willpower depletes throughout the day like a battery. Structure bypasses this limitation. when you don't have to decide whether to work on your priority, when it's simply what happens at 7 a.m., you conserve mental energy for the work itself. Being sacred, uninterrupted focus, periods, multiplies your effectiveness. 30 minutes of complete concentration accomplishes more than 3 hours of distracted effort. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary, inform others you're unavailable. Protect these periods as your most valuable assets. Time is not just money, it's life itself. Every minute spent is a minute you'll never recover. The disciplined person understands this and refuses to exchange their irreplaceable time for trivial returns. Today, create your ideal schedule. Tomorrow, live it without compromise. Day 8, accountability architecture. The necessity of external standards cannot be ignored. Even the most disciplined individuals require outside accountability. We often accept from others what we would excuse in ourselves. The world's elite performers, athletes, executives, artists, all subject themselves to external evaluation and feedback. Pretty consequences for missed commitments strengthens your resolve. These consequences must be meaningful enough to influence your behavior. If you miss your morning workout, perhaps you donate to a cause you dislike. If you fail to complete your daily priority, maybe you forfeit something you enjoy. The consequence should pinch, not crush, but never be dismissed. Finding accountability partners who elevate you is critical. Choose someone who embodies the discipline you seek. This person must care enough about your growth to have difficult conversations. They must be unwilling to accept your excuses. And their standards should make you slightly uncomfortable. This discomfort is the sensation of growth. Lust for power, public declarations. Leverages social pressure for positive purposes. Tell people what you're committed to accomplishing. Post your goals where others will see them. The knowledge that others are watching creates a powerful incentive to follow. Your desire to maintain consistency between your words and actions becomes a force. Supporting someone who won't accept excuses might feel uncomfortable initially, but this discomfort produces remarkable results. When you know you must explain your actions or inactions to someone who holds high standards, your behavior changes automatically. Accountability isn't about punishment. It's about partnership. It's about creating structures that support your highest intentions when your lowest motivations emerge. Today, establish your accountability system. Tomorrow, let it strengthen you. Day 9, progress tracking. What gets measured gets improved. This simple truth has transformed businesses, athletics, and can revolutionize your personal discipline. Without measurement, you rely on feelings to gauge progress, a notoriously unreliable method. Measurement provides objective truth. In your personal dashboard of discipline requires intentionality. Identify the 3-5 key metrics that directly reflect your priority commitments. Don't overcomplicate this. Simple tracking systems get used. A check mark on the calendar, a number in a journal, a note in your phone. The medium matters less than the consistency. The psychological power of visible progress cannot be overstated. When you see your streak of consecutive days meditating or your gradually increasing workout weights, motivation naturally follows. Make your tracking visible, not hidden in an app you rarely open. Place it where you'll see it multiple times daily. Celebrating small wins to fuel motivation maintains your momentum. Each tracked accomplishment deserves acknowledgement, however brief. This celebration creates a positive feedback loop in your brain, associating discipline with reward rather than deprivation. Using data to refine your approach transforms discipline from rigid adherence to intelligent adaptation. If your tracking reveals that you consistently skip evening workouts but never miss morning sessions, the data is telling you something valuable. Listen to it, adjust accordingly. Tracking isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It reveals patterns, exposes excuses, and highlights progress that feelings might miss. Go today, create your tracking system. Tomorrow, begin recording your transformation. May 10. Energy management discipline requires fuel physical and mental. No matter how strong your commitment, depleted energy will undermine your best intentions. The most disciplined individuals don't simply manage their time. They strategically manage their energy. They recognize that willpower is a finite resource that must be supported by physical vitality. Nutrition, as the foundation of consistent performance, cannot be ignored. The food you consume is not just calories. It's information for your cells, instructions for your hormones, fuel for your brain. Processed foods, excessive sugar, and inflammatory ingredients create energy crashes that make discipline nearly impossible. Clean, whole foods create stable energy that sustains focus and determination. Sleep quality determines willpower capacity more than almost any other factor. During quality sleep, your brain consolidates learning, repairs cellular damage, and recharges decision-making ability. Chronically shortchanging sleep doesn't display dedication. It guarantees diminished performance. 7 to 9 hours isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for sustained discipline. Strategic rest as a competitive advantage separates the elite from the merely hardworking. True productivity isn't about constant action. It's about rhythmic oscillation between intense focus and genuine recovery. Schedule brief renewal breaks. Throughout your day, 2 minutes of deep breathing, a short walk, momentary meditation. These micro-recovery periods maintain peak energy. Matching high energy tasks with high energy periods multiplies your effectiveness. Track your natural energy fluctuations for 1 week. When are you naturally most alert? Schedule your most challenging tasks during these windows. Leave administrative or routine work for lower energy periods. Working with your biology, not against it, conserves precious willpower. Energy management isn't about pushing through exhaustion. It's about creating conditions where discipline becomes natural rather than forced. The truly disciplined person isn't running on willpower alone. They're strategically fueling the system that produces willpower. Today, audit your energy management. Tomorrow, fuel your discipline into day 11. Financial discipline. Money habits reflect overall self-control. How you handle finances reveals your relationship with delayed gratification, impulse control, and long-term thinking. Financial discipline isn't separate from other forms of self-mastery. It's a critical component of the disciplined life. Creating systems for spending along with values transforms your relationship with resources. Budgeting isn't restriction. It's conscious allocation. When every dollar has a predetermined purpose, random spending decreases automatically. Your money begins flowing toward what truly matters to you rather than momentary desires. Delayed gratification as life's master skill separates the successful from the perpetually struggling. The ability to forgo immediate pleasure for greater future reward correlates strongly with achievement in every area. Financial choices provide daily opportunities to strengthen this muscle. Saving before spending, investing before consuming, building before enjoying. How financial boundaries create freedom seems paradoxical, but proves true. Clear spending limits, automatic savings transfers, and predetermined investment allocations create a framework within which genuine financial peace develops. These boundaries don't restrict freedom. They create it by preventing the chaos of unchecked consumption. Monetary decisions that reveal character often go unnoticed, but compound dramatically. The daily coffee purchase, the impulsive online shopping, the unused subscription services, these aren't merely financial choices, but character declarations. Each small decision either strengthens or weakens your discipline muscle. Financial discipline isn't about accumulating wealth for its own sake. It's about bringing intentionality to your resources so they serve your highest purposes rather than momentary impulses. It's about ensuring your money follows your values rather than directing your values. Today, examine your financial patterns. Tomorrow, align them with your disciplined identity. Right? Day 12. Relationship boundaries, the people around you determine your standards. This uncomfortable truth explains why many discipline journeys fail before they truly begin. Your immediate social circle establishes what's normal, acceptable, and expect it. If you're surrounded by people who mock early mornings, dismiss ambitious goals, and normalize procrastination, your discipline will face constant resistance. Having difficult conversations about your new path isn't optional. It's necessary. You must clearly communicate your changing priorities and boundaries to those closest to you. These conversations aren't about judgment or superiority. No, not asking permission. You're providing information about who you're becoming. Creating boundaries with those who undermine discipline requires courage. Some relationships may require distance, temporary or permanent. This isn't selfish. If someone consistently sabotages your growth, undermines your goals, or pulls you back into old patterns, limited contact becomes an act of finding relationships that elevate your standards, accelerates your transformation. Deliberately seek connections with those who embody the discipline you're developing. Their habits will normalize excellence in your mind. Their expectations will pull you upward. Their examples will demonstrate what's possible when discipline becomes identity. Being the standard setter in your circles carries responsibility. As you develop discipline, you become the example others observe. Your consistent actions create permission for others to pursue their own growth. Your quiet commitment speaks more powerfully than any lecture or advice you could offer. Relationship boundaries aren't about isolation. They're about intentional connection. They ensure your social environment supports rather than undermines your highest aspirations. They protect the emerging disciplined version of yourself from being pulled back into comfortable mediocrity. Today, evaluate your relationships honestly. Tomorrow, day 13. Crisis preparation. Discipline is tested in moments of pressure. Anyone can maintain commitments when life flows smoothly. The truly disciplined person continues their essential practices when chaos erupts. Crisis doesn't build character. Creating contingency plans for inevitable obstacles prevents panic when disruption occurs. What will you do when travel interrupts your routine? How will you maintain priorities during family emergencies? Yes. What modifications will you make during illness? Don't wait for crisis to formulate these adjustments. Decide now what your minimum viable disciplines will be during difficult seasons. The power of predetermined responses eliminates decision fatigue when you're most vulnerable. When your alarm sounds after a sleepless night, you don't debate whether to rise. You've already decided that regardless of feelings, you get up. When emotional distress strikes, you don't question whether to maintain healthy eating. You've established this as non-negotiable. Maintain standards when everything falls apart distinguishes the discipline from the merely motivated. Reduced standards during crisis are acceptable. Abandoned standards are not. Determine your absolute minimum requirements that continue regardless of circumstance. These become your unbreakable core commitments. Using setbacks as opportunities to strengthen resolve transforms potential defeats into victories. When you maintain any portion of your disciplines during difficulty, celebrate this as evidence of your developing character. Resilience isn't avoiding falls. It's rising after them with renewed determination. Crisis will come. Your preparation determines whether it becomes an excuse for abandoning discipline or proof of your unshakable commitment. Today, create your crisis protocols. Tomorrow, they'll sustain you when need. Day 14. Spiritual foundation, adapting discipline to something greater than yourself provides sustaining power. When motivation falters, when your commitment transcends personal benefit, when it serves a purpose beyond self-improvement, it develops roots that withstand the storms of life. Discipline anchored only in self-advancement remains vulnerable to the changing winds of circumstance. Daily practices that develop spiritual strength must become as consistent as physical exercise. Quiet reflection, prayer, meditation, sacred reading. These aren't optional add-ons to discipline, but it's very foundation. They cultivate the inner clarity and strength that power external actions. The outward manifestation of discipline flows from an inward reality. Finding guidance beyond your own understanding acknowledges human limitation. The truly wise person recognizes that personal perspective is inherently restricted. They seek wisdom from sources that transcend individual experience, whether through sacred texts, spiritual mentors, or connection to divine guidance. This humility opens channels to wisdom unavailable to the self-reliant. Holding others as the highest form of self-discipline redirects focus outward. Service transforms discipline from self-centered achievement to meaningful contribution. When your daily commitments benefit others, motivation deepens. The discipline to wake early becomes easier when it creates opportunity to help someone in need. The commitment to financial responsibility strengthens when it enables generosity. Building an unshakable core, regardless of circumstances, develops through consistent spiritual practice. This core remains steady when external rewards disappear, when progress stalls, when recognition lacks. Abides stability when everything visible suggests surrender. Your spiritual foundation isn't separate from discipline. It's the bedrock upon which lasting discipline is built. Without it, discipline becomes mere achievement rather than transformation. Today, establish your spiritual practices. Tomorrow, let them sustain your journey. Day 15, legacy mindset. Discipline isn't just for today. It shapes generations. The habits you form, the character you build, the example you set creates ripples extending far beyond your lifetime. Your discipline isn't merely personal improvement. It's cultural transformation beginning with you. Living for impact beyond your lifetime transforms daily decisions. When you view your actions through the lens of legacy, trivial distractions lose their power. The question shifts from what do I want right now? What contribution will outlast me? This perspective elevates discipline, creating systems that outlast motivation guarantees continued impact. Disciplines embedded in routines, organizations, and relationships continue their influence long after your initial passion fades. The structures you establish today may guide others decades from now. The compound effect of disciplined decades produces results beyond imagination. Small, consistent actions don't just accumulate, they multiply. The difference between daily discipline and occasional effort isn't merely quantitative. 15 minutes of daily rereading becomes thousands of books over a lifetime. Consistent investing creates generational wealth. Regular writing becomes a body of work that influences countless minds. Building a life that speaks after you're gone requires intentional discipline today. Your legacy isn't created in grand moments or final gestures. It's built in ordinary Wednesday mornings when no one is watching, in private choices that honor your highest commitments, in consistent actions aligned with eternal principles. Your discipline today echoes into eternity. Make it worthy of remembrance. Today, envision your legacy. Tomorrow, build it through unwavering discipline. Discipline isn't about perfection, but persistence. The journey you began these past 15 days isn't about flawless execution. It's about relentless continuation. You will falter. You will face days when every commitment feels impossible. These moments don't define you. Your response to them does. The disciplined person isn't one who never fails, but one who never quits. Your 15-day framework as your lifetime blueprint provides structure for ongoing growth. These principles aren't meant to be mastered once and forgotten. They form a cycle of continuous refinement. Return to day one regularly. Strengthen your decision. Clarify your purpose. Enhance your morning victory. Each cycle through this framework deepens your discipline. Your responsibility to those waiting for your example extends beyond yourself. Someone is watching you, perhaps a child, a colleague, a friend, someone who needs proof that transformation is possible. Your consistent discipline gives them permission to begin their own journey. Your life becomes the evidence that daily choices matter. The unstoppable power of consistent, focused action defies every obstacle. No barrier can permanently stop the person who moves forward daily. No circumstance can defeat the individual who refuses to surrender their standards. No limitation can contain someone committed to incremental progress. rising to fulfill your highest potential through daily choices isn't some distant, dramatic moment. It's this moment right now. It's the next decision you make. It's the commitment you keep when no one is looking. That's the standard you maintain when compromise would be easier. The disciplined life isn't the easy life, but it's the fulfilled life. It's the life where potential becomes reality. It's the life where purpose overcomes preference. It's the life where legacy is built one day, one choice, one moment at a time. Your greatest victories await on the other side of daily discipline. Keep going.